And Nick Walker, he can't show up and do a front double bicep because he didn't do enough freaking cardio. He couldn't put the fork down. And so we all thought that Nick Walker was in a grind set, that he was in a state of absolute grind, that he was the hardest worker in the room. Turned out it's the exact opposite. And so I've lost respect for Nick Walker. I don't care. You get your ass on stage.
Boom! Boom! What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Whoa, man. So I filmed my video the other day about Nick Walker dropping out of the Olympia. Now, my view is more about health, and I always err on the side of health. And being someone who loves Nick Walker, who likes the work ethic he brings, I got a message from Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette and I talk here and there. I love Greg. I think he's one of the greatest guys I've ever talked to. I mean, he is a good dude. Loves the sport. He is, man, he's a master of his craft. He's, in my opinion, he's the most entertaining fitness YouTuber out there. So we're chatting back and forth. He actually disagreed with my assessment of Nick Walker dropping out of the Olympia. So I watched Greg's video, and Greg's video went hard. Now, Greg is someone who's competed in, I believe, 59 bodybuilding competitions. I don't know if I've done 59. I've probably done 20 or 30 or 40. I lost count. It's been since 2007, but I took off between 2013 and 2021. So between 2007 and 2013, I competed a lot. Then I did a few shows, 2021, and of course, the New York Pro in 2023. So what Greg says, I might be wrong, guys. Like, I got to be honest with you. Greg looks at it from this unbiased perspective, just looking at it as a pure fan and competitor in the sport. And when I look at everything going on, and I look at Nick Walker, and I didn't notice it the first time I watched the video. Like, he allegedly made this decision on the Monday before he filmed the video on Thursday, right? Man, Nick looked about 12 to 16 to 20 weeks out of shape. And it's hard to tell with clothes on because these guys are so big. But what you can tell, even if he did make that decision at 2 weeks out, his face would be chiseled. He would still look like he was prepping. Like, even in the 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks after a show, I still look like Skeletor, man. I still look unhealthy. Face is sunken in. Eye sockets are shut. It's just an ugly experience. Nick looked fine. Like, he looked like he was well fed. So Greg goes into the fact that, well, he's pulling out because he didn't think he could get top 3. And Greg also says that Nick will never get top 3. Nick is a 5th place guy, and that's where he had him placing at this show. Now, I'm not a judge. I don't know what he would place, but looking at the guys around him, you have Hottie and Derek. That's 1 and 2 most likely, maybe. Based on last year, a lot of times, you know, you got Andrew, you got Samson, Brandon Curry. People seem to forget about Brandon Curry. I'm going to tell you what, Brandon Curry has placed 1st, 2nd, and 4th. Like, the guy is still crushing it. He's still a contender. I don't know why y'all sleeping on my boy Brandon, but again, I'm biased. I am biased towards this. But maybe Greg's right. Maybe Nick cheated on his diet. Maybe Nick wasn't following the protocol. Or maybe Greg even brought up the coaching situation. Look, man, I got no shade for coaches. I am not a guy who's trying to prep Olympia competitors. Most of the people I prep are ordinary, everyday Americans trying to look their best, maybe trying to get from obesity to healthy metabolically, to getting rid of all their health issues. Maybe it's pre-diabetes, whatever it is, right? A lot of my clients are natural competitors, natural bodybuilders. I do have a few enhanced guys who compete at the national and beyond national stage. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not trying to steal Matt Jansen's clients. I do not want to coach Nick. I do not. I would, and I'd probably do a great job. But again, I'm too inundated in what I'm doing day to day to really partake in people of that level, right? Like the amount of stuff they need to do. When I say stuff, I mean stuff. A lot of stuff. There's a lot of chemistry going on. I don't want that liability. Do not want that liability with people competing at that level. So maybe it's a coach issue, right? Maybe Matt tried some things. Maybe he threw some things into his cocktail. If you know what I'm saying, maybe that threw him off. But I think Greg has a lot of great points. And if you haven't watched his video, I'll link it down below. I think Greg makes a lot of phenomenal points here. Number one is you have one job, right? Like your job is to get ready for the Olympia. And the whole chaos thing, the more I thought about that, well, Nick's life is too good right now. So he preps best in chaos. Look, dude, I've never prepped in anything but chaos, but I can only imagine that if my life is going so good, all I have to do is worry about putting a package on the stage. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to make it happen. As far as what I opined to earlier, that you might not respond as well, your body might be inflamed. Man, I mean, look, I got to assume that most bodybuilders at that level, they're not in the best of health. Their bodies are inflamed. But the best fire extinguisher are steroids, right? Like, okay, I'm a little bit inflamed. Throw some more drugs at it. Sure, there's a drug for that. So I don't know if I'm buying that anymore either. So the more I think about that, I don't want to mean any shade to Nick, but I hope that the video I did is closer to what it truly is. It's that Nick's body is sending him a signal that if you don't stop right now, you're going to be facing dire consequences. And because of that signal, Nick's like, look, I'm not responding. I'm not going to throw any more fuel into the fire. I'm just going to step back, take a year off, despite this being my show, and I'm just going to chill. But again, like, look at Greg's point of view, right? Like, you have this Olympia, and you do not want to place below the bottom three. And you see Samson looking like WTF. You see Andrew looking like, what? Derek's back. You can literally land an airplane on. Hadi is just consistent. He's always in. He's always ready to go. He's always shredded. His glutes are always diced. He's always just a thick, round ball of muscle. Then you factor in that Andrew and Samson and Derek and probably Hadi have a better shape. That's where you have to look at. Maybe Nick doesn't see himself placing in the top 5. And rather than just taking it on the chin and competing and letting the pieces fall where they may, he's like, I cannot do this to myself. I cannot place below what I have placed before. And that's when you point to someone like a Brandon Curry, right? Like Brandon won the Olympia. He was him. His name for that year was Himothy. Brandon came back, got second, got fourth. But Brandon keeps showing up and showing out. And I can't even argue, he looks better now than he did when he won the Olympia. Man's 40 years old. So the problem is when you start throwing all those substances at your body at such a young age, when you got someone like an Andrew or a Brandon who've climbed up the ladder, who've made incremental gains and not thrown everything at themselves at such a young age, it allows your body to accept it more. It allows your body to be healthier. Like I talked about before, Brandon's a throwback to the Kevin Levrone era. Not so much Kevin, where Kevin would take time off of lifting and everything. Brandon still trains hard. Brandon still works out. He still eats pretty good, right? But he doesn't really put pedal to the metal until it's like 12, 16 weeks out. He goes to Kuwait, does a fight camp, as I'd like to call it, and comes to the Olympia gaining size. And also these off seasons are just so unhealthy. We don't talk about that enough. Now, I was just talking to that, but my wife, believe it or not, was at the receiving end of that diatribe or that conversation I had with her, which was pretty much to myself. She just happened to be there as someone for me to direct my voice to. The getting up to 300 plus pounds in the off season, while it might be effective, it is not healthy. It is not healthy because what happens? You go and they make those gains immediately after the show. There's no clean out period. There's no period where you healthify yourself, right? So these guys come off a crazy contest cycle. They'll do the Olympia or the New York Pro or whatever they do. And then boom, right away, they jump into a crazy bulk. They go from one extreme cycle to another extreme cycle. They never give their body a chance to truly heal, truly recover, truly normalize. Whereas a Brandon Curry does. So his body has a chance to kind of relax, regroup, get his enzymes in check, get all his blood work ready to go, make sure his liver, kidneys, all that are healthy, and then you get ready for the show. But what will happen is these bulks become more arduous to the body because not only more stressful to the body, let's use that word, because not only are you pounding these compounds, but you're also going to be super heavy. You're going to be in such a heavy state. 300 pounds is not healthy. Whereas, let's say you come in, you're 210 pounds for the prep, and you gain to the show, you get on stage around 227, 235. I'll argue that's a much better. Now, both ways are unhealthy. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Like, being a pro bodybuilder is not the healthiest endeavor one can do at that level. But if you're going to choose which way is healthier, you're going to choose the way where you're not maintaining 300 plus pounds year round. You're normal for a lot of the year. And then you kick it into gear, you basically grow into the show. So looking at Greg's video, dude, I get it. And Greg's not wrong. Greg's not wrong. It's very disappointing to see Nick not in the show. However, I will say that my heart still hopes that whatever's happening, it's not Nick chickening out from a show. It is Nick realizing he needs to step it back and get healthy and bring a better package next time. But if I'm weighing the two and seeing which one makes more sense, I think Greg got more right than he did wrong. But what do you think, guys? Comment down below. Olympia's this week. Who do you got winning? Comment that down below. Help me with the algorithm. And also remember, tigerfitness.com, coupon code Olympia24. That's Olympia24. We got things like MTS Whey, right? Peanut butter cookies and cream is the greatest flavor ever created. Plus, if you don't do well with dairy or lactose, Ambrosia Planta is absolutely amazing. Again, the entire site, Olympia24, Olympia 24, gets you 10% off everything on the site. That's everything. Please support us, man. Economy's not great, no matter what they say. We can use all the help we can get. This is the new channel. So I want you to subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell. Like this video. Comment, like. Help me with the algorithm. And I have a daily vlog going on now at youtube.com/tigerfitness, the OG channel, youtube.com/tigerfitness. If you're not following that, follow that now. But anyway, guys, comment down below. What do you think? What do you think's going on? Why do you think Nick dropped it? What are your opinions of it? Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Greatly appreciate it. Shop at tigerfitness.com because dropping out of the Olympia, that's not a game. For the past few months, I've been making the gains of my life. Never thought I'd be training this way, but I've taken all of the new data on hypertrophy and put it together. Not only am I making all these gains, I'm never terribly sore. I never feel run down. My energy's through the roof. I'm able to hike. I'm able to swim. I'm able to do everything I love. It doesn't cut into my life. I don't feel fatigued. I don't feel terrible, but I'm still making these crazy gains. It is the Superior Hypertrophy Training Book, and it is yours, and it is free. Go to superiorhypertrophy.com. That's superiorhypertrophy.com and start it today. You have nothing to lose. It's absolutely free. My gift to you. Now go make some damn gains.